Welcome everyone. So today we are going to move on to the next module in the subject CE 405 Environmental Engineering 1. So we'll be discussing module 5. So these are the contents in module 5: disinfection of water, the various methods, chlorination, the types, factors affecting the chlorination process, then chlorine demands, miscellaneous treatment methods, etc. So these are the topics. So module 5 mainly deals with the disinfection process in the water treatment. So what do you understand by disinfection? So we know that we have discussed so many methods so far, various methods of purification of water, starting from the screening process, plain sedimentation, sedimentation with coagulation, filtration, etc. So we must understand that either in singly or in a combination, whatever processes we have discussed so far is not sufficient, or we cannot rely upon these processes, that is the sedimentation, coagulation, filtration, etc. It cannot be relied to remove the bacteria that is present in water, especially the pathogenic bacteria. So what do you understand by pathogenic bacteria? Pathogenic bacteria means the bacteria which causes diseases, or which actually, if present in drinking water, will lead to various serious ailments to the consumers. So we cannot rely on any of these methods that we already discussed, and so disinfection is needed after filtration. So disinfection may be defined as the process, or it is a process where the bacteria that are present in the water is killed, and also not only bacteria, also various other microorganisms will be killed, so as to prevent the waterborne diseases. And one more term, you would have heard this term sterilization. So sterilization is again another term which is often used synonymous with the word disinfection. So sterilization means, or to make water sterile means, it is the aim, or the process of killing the microorganisms in water in order to make the water sterile. So this is what is sterilization, which is often used in synonym conjunction with the word disinfection. Now coming to the various methods. So there are various methods. Before that, there are so many types of waterborne diseases which we already know. Like there are the bacterial infections. If there is bacteria present in water, and when the people consume it, it can lead to cause of various ailments like typhoid, or the paratyphoid, diarrhea, cholera, etc. And if virus is present, what happens is it may lead to hepatitis, rotavirus, diarrhea, and protozoa. These are other microorganisms which leads to various conditions like amoebiasis, cryptosporidiasis, like that. So likewise, all these microorganisms and bacteria that are present in water, if it is not treated properly, it will lead to various waterborne diseases. So in order to kill the microorganisms or the bacteria that are present in water, we adopt this process which we call as disinfection. So disinfection, in simple terms, is the process of killing the pathogenic microorganisms or pathogenic bacteria that are present in water. Now, disinfection process, we'll be discussing what are the various disinfection process that are adopted in the water treatment process. So before that, what do you mean by a disinfectant? So disinfectant is a substance that we use for the disinfection purpose. So the substance which is used for disinfection of water, we call it as a disinfectant. And there are some requirements which a disinfectant should meet. So the following are the requirements which a disinfectant should meet. That is, it should be effective in killing the microorganisms or whatever bacteria that are present in water within the time which is available. So whichever time we allot for this process, within this limited time, the disinfectant should be able to kill all the microorganisms and the other bacteria that are present in water, harmful bacteria. So that is one requirement. And of course, the disinfectant should be available at a reasonable rate. It should not be too costly. It should be available at a reasonable rate, and also it should be readily available. Then it should be very easy to handle, and also the method of application of the disinfectant should not be very tedious. It should be easy to apply to the water. And one more thing, it should not be toxic or it should not be harmful to the user. So that is also one requirement of a disinfectant. And if it renders the water toxic, or if water becomes unpalatable or objectionable, or if it should not also make water what to say, it should not make it objectionable, because like it can be the color or the taste, nothing should change, because then it will not be able to consume it. Also, the disinfectant should have the ability to persist in the residual concentration, so it should be available in residual concentration in the water. So what do you mean by presence in, or to persist in residual concentration? That is because once the water is disinfected and all the bacteria are killed, what happens after disinfection process? We will be uh, distributing the water through various pipelines. So there are chances that if there is a leakage in the distribution system or in the pipeline, again they can get contaminated, or recontamination of water can occur. So whatever disinfectant we are using for the disinfection process, it should still persist in some residual form in the water. Like the water that we are going to distribute to the public through the distribution system should contain the disinfectant in some residual form, so that whenever a recontamination occurs, it will again kill the bacteria that again gets into the water. So this process, this is one other requirement, that is it should be present in the residual state in the water even after the disinfection process. So I hope it is clear. So these are the basic requirements of a disinfectant that is used in the disinfection process. Now coming to the various methods that we adopt for disinfection process. So there are various methods by which the disinfection process is effected. So broadly we can classify it under two heads: the physical methods and the chemical methods. So physical method means physically we are disinfecting the water. So there are two methods in physical method. One is by heat and the second one is by light. So by heat means by boiling the water, subjecting the water to boiling, we can kill the bacteria that is present in the water. And the second process, that is disinfection by light, here in the presence of sunlight. So here sunlight it can be used as a natural disinfection or disinfectant, and also irradiation by the ultraviolet rays will intensify the process of disinfection. The UV rays from the sun will intensify the disinfection process. So this is the physical method. These are the physical methods. One is by heat, that is boiling, and the second method is disinfection by light, that is with the aid of sunlight. And coming to the next method, that is chemical methods, it includes the following sub methods, that is oxidizing chemicals. So oxidizing chemicals means it comprises of the halogens, like using halogens like the chlorine, bromine, iodine, etc., and even ozone is used. Then also other oxidants such as potassium permanganate and hydrogen peroxide may also be used. So by using oxidizing chemicals. Also the next process, that is a metal ions. So metal ions like silver and copper ions will be used in this process for the disinfection. So this is another method by which where metal ions can be used for disinfecting water. But one disadvantage is that this is a very slow process. Then the next method is alkalis and acids. So this is also another method wherein alkali or acid. So when we say alkali, that is pH greater than 7. So here usually alkali, highly alkaline substances or highly acidic substances will be treated by using alkalis and acids. Then also here the destruction of the bacteria will be by using say lime or something like that. So the softening process, which we will be discussing later on, there I will mention about this. Then coming to the next method, that is the surface active chemicals. So here we use surfactants. So here this is another method where detergents or surfactants are used for the disinfection process. So Out of the methods that have been mentioned or which I have just listed above, chlorination is one of them. That is a halogen chemical method using halogen oxidizing chemicals, isn't it? So there I mentioned about chlorine. So chlorination is one of the most important or the most widely adopted method of disinfection. So we'll be discussing chlorination in detail in the next class. So in most of the water treatment plants, chlorination is the method that is adopted for the treatment of water. Now coming to the disinfection methods, other disinfection, that is the minor methods of disinfection of water. So these are the various minor methods of disinfection of water. So it includes the following methods like boiling, then high pH or excess lime treatment, then silver nitrate treatment, silver treatment, then UV irradiation or UV ray treatment, that ultraviolet irradiation or ultraviolet ray treatment. Then we have the potassium permanganate treatment. So these are all the minor methods. So like I told you, chlorination is the most commonly adopted method. But again, these minor methods also may be adopted for disinfecting water. So briefly, I'll just explain what are these. So coming to the first process, that is boiling. So boiling means this is actually one of the most effective process in to sterilize water, because boiling will kill all the bacteria or other organisms that are present in water. But it is not possible on a large scale like a public water supply scheme, or we can't use it for treating boiling water for a large scale water treatment process. So because what happens is it will be expensive, we might need more equipments, and also it will be a very costly process. Also during the epidemic season and all, the consumers will be we can advise the consumers to boil water in the that is at home or domestically, for domestic use like drinking etc. They may boil water in use, but on a large scale this process, adopting this process is not suitable. Boiling is actually a very simple method, and it effects in killing the microorganisms or bacteria that are present in water. Now coming to the next process, that is high pH treatment or excess lime. So high pH treatment or excess lime process, in this method actually when the pH of water is greater than 9.5, when the pH of water increases above 9.5, what happens is the E. coli bacteria that are present in water will die. So hence when enough lime is added to water, that is to bringing the pH to this level, say 9.5 or above. We know that when the pH is above 7, it becomes alkaline, isn't it? So when the pH is brought to this level or this figure, what happens is the bacteria and other organisms that are present will die, and also the removal of the bacteria can be effective up to 99 or even up to 100%. But what happens is then later on we have to remove the excess lime by some other method before it is being supplied to the consumers. So by treating with excess lime, of course we can kill the bacteria and other microorganisms, but then this excess lime will still be present in water. So we will have to adopt some other measure so as to remove the excess lime now before it is being supplied to the consumers. So and then that is one process which has to be adopted. And here usually the dose of lime is between 10 to 20 parts per million of calcium oxide that will be normally used. So this is a process wherein we use lime to treat the water. Now next process is the silver treatment. So water can also be disinfected by using silver or by the electrocatalytic action or of silver. So silver, when it is immersed in water, it is observed to exert an inhibiting action on the bacteria. So this approach may be adopted in order to kill the bacteria that are present in water. So this is one method where silver is used. But since we already know that silver is very costly, so this method may be used only in very small installations, or even we can say it is usually used for very personal or private individual household method, and it is not feasible to adopt the silver treatment process on a large scale for public water supply. Now coming to the next process, that is ultraviolet ray treatment. So the ultraviolet ray will usually offers an effective method for sterilization of water, because light is very much effective in killing the active bacteria that is present in water. Here actually sun, we know that sun is a very powerful source of UV ray, so it requires a large exposure area, and also it will require long time. So this is actually a very effective as well as a very economical method. So nowadays this process is actually gaining prominence, and this method is also widely being accepted method. Though chlorination is, like I told you, chlorination is a method that is most widely used, UV irradiation method is also gaining prominence these days. Coming to the next process, that is potassium permanganate. So this is another method, or it's a very common method of disinfection, especially in the rural areas. So here what happens is, the water supplies, like from wells, rural areas we know that water will be collected from the well, so these will contain very less amount of bacteria. So potassium permanganate is usually dissolved in water, or in a bucket of water taken from the well, and this bucket full of this water will be mixed with the well water thoroughly. So we will take some amount of water, mix potassium permanganate, and then this mixture will be again mixed with the well water. So this is another method, and this method is mostly adopted in the rural areas for disinfection of water. So these are the minor methods of disinfection of water. In the next class, we'll be discussing in detail the chlorination process, which is a very important process in the treatment of water. Thank you.